Alright, so tonight I am cutting foam kneeling pads and I'm going to engrave them, but right now I'm doing the tests for them, and I'm doing tests for both the S1 20 watt and S1 40 watt. And let me give you a glimpse of what one of the test cards look like. So here's the test card, and you actually have to test both sides because they actually engrave differently. So the dimpled side has its own settings and actually reacts different than the smooth side. So if you want to engrave on both, it's good to run tests on each side. And this is a test card for the 20 watt, and I'm getting ready to do a 40 watt in red, and I have all these different colors, so I'm going to be testing all the different colors. We'll see how similar some of them are, and if the blue lasers struggle with this at all. Now, this wasn't my idea. I got this from Steve Makes Everything. If you have never seen Steve's channel, he's awesome. He has really great ideas, and he's really awesome with lasers. And here we go. So let's get started on this test for the 40 watt. So you can see there's my 40 watt, and it's going. And it's going to do all those test grids right now. So it's going to do an engrave test grid, a score test grid, and a cut test grid. And I used kind of the settings from the 20 watt to take kind of a calculated guess as to what would be good for this particular laser. Steve was doing this on a CO2 laser, but he said it could be done with a diode as well. So that's why I decided to do the diode test, see if that will help some people out that may want to do this. And I thought this would be a really cool advertising idea and inexpensive gift that I could give really good customers. So let me show you how I made my design for my kneeling pad. It's probably going to be very different than how Steve did it. He is way more sophisticated in using things like light burn and different programs. I try and keep it all simple and use XCS as much as I possibly can because that's what I know. So what I did was I selected a simple rectangle. Okay, there's my rectangle. So I selected a rectangle, and then I kind of stretched it out, and then I can make this whatever I want it to be. I'm going to unlock it here, and then I'm going to change the width just by putting a 10 in, and then by putting a 9 in, and that will give me 10 by 9, and and you can adjust it to whatever you wanted it to be. Actually, I think I ended up with something that was like 16 by 9. So let me go with more like that. There's 16 by 9. So then what I did next was, Steve had nice rounded corners on his. What I did is I just came up here, and you'll see if you click this, it is a rounding corner radius, and by clicking my up arrow, it starts giving me the degree of radius that I want. And you can, I just kind of visually did it. 0.8 looked good to me, so there you can go. I have a nice little radius cut to that. And then he put in a nice little handle, and how I'm going to do it was I'm going to take a little oval here. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. I'm going to unlock it because I want it kind of long and thin, but just kind of bring that up like that. Then I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to move it into the position that I want it. Okay, so then what I want to do is I'm going to select both of these, and I think I'm going to shorten this a little bit. I only want this about 1 inch wide. So there we go. So there's 1 inch. And then what I did was I selected both by dragging over both, and then I used subtracted overlap. When you click that, so now if I hit this all as engrave, you'll see what it would look like. And there's my big mat with the cutout there. Now, we don't need this on engrave, so we're going to take it off of that. That's just telling us what it looks like. This would be a cut. So all of this would cut. So it would cut the outside piece and then cut the inside piece. And that's how I made my little kneeling pad. Very simple design. Obviously, as you can see, nothing real sophisticated there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I want to make one little change to my logo here. I don't, on other things I've done, I didn't love the way that this bottom text has come out. So I'm going to change it to a solid text and make it something very similar to this, but I want to take this out. So I'm going to just move this to the side, and I'm going to look for something I like here. That might look good. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, so now we're gonna angle it, not that way, with this right here. We can bend it, and I want to have it pretty much the same, very close to what was here before. So I'm actually going to put it over top of it and make my adjustments till I know it's almost exactly the same. So we need a little less curve. And that's pretty close. We can do some fine tuning right here on the design. That looks like it's the middle. And I think I'm going to open this up still a little bit more. There we go. That looks pretty good. And there we go. There we're centered. And I'm just going to delete that. And then I'm going to make this I'm going to make the logo. Let me shrink this down so you can see a little bit. I'm just going to move this to the side for a second, and I'm going to group this all together. So that way, now when I grab this, this stays as one piece. Now I'm going to move my piece back in. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this because I want it to be engraved this way. Now, since I already cut it out, I'm not going to need the outside part because I'm not going to be recutting it. So when I do the actual test of this, this would be great for future ones if I'm going to just cut it and engrave it at the same time. But right now, I will not be needing the outside black part. So even though it's here, I'm going to turn off the output. So you'll see it, but it's not going to engrave because we're going to use the dimensions of the piece that's already cut that we're going to put in there and then place this engraving on it. All right, so that is looking the way I want it to be. And now I'm going to go put the piece in the laser, set that up, and show you the rest of it. Hey everybody, so I wanted to show you the finished product. It came out really nice. And I wanted to show you that you can do this on a diode laser, and that was the main reason I did this. This was not my idea. I just want to give credit again to Steve Makes Everything, because that's where this came from. This was Steve's idea. He showed how you can cut these out of pretty ordinary EVA gym foam mats, and then engrave them on either side. And that's what I was doing here. He did it on a CO2 laser, so I wanted to show that you could do it on a diode. He did mention that, but he didn't bother to actually do it on the diode. So I figured I would do it on the diode and also share my test results, which is probably the hardest and most time-consuming part of this, is getting your settings and running your test cards. So you can see here are the ones that I did for this red EVA foam. I did one on the 20 watt. Since I have two machines, I have a 20 watt and I have the 40 watt. I decided to do both. So I ran a engrave, a score, and a cut test on the 20 watt and the same thing on the 40 watt, an engraved score cut. And I did both sides of the foam because they do actually react a little differently. So you will not use, if you're going to engrave the smooth side, the cut numbers are pretty much the same, but the engrave and score will be different numbers, most likely for what you like. But I will share those with you. But I'm really happy with how this came out. So I'm going to continue doing other different colors. I did find some tan colored ones, which I think is what I'm going to ultimately use for my stuff. And I'm kind of looking at this product as a thank you gift for really good customers and referrals. I have a hardware store that refers my knife sharpening and laser engraving service a lot, and I think I'm going to make some of these for them for their business because this is a great gift for a hardware shop. Would be something like this because they're probably kneeling all the time, and might even be something that they might be interested in a product too for their clients. Steve says at craft shows he regularly can get easy $10 to $15 for something like this, and the ROI on this is nice. The cost to produce 2 of these is I think around $1.25, which is pretty great. Even if you were, let's say on the low end, you got $10 for an engraved one of these, that's pretty awesome. That's a huge return on investment for an inexpensive product. And we're just, we are just the tip of the iceberg here of things that you could do with EVA foam. But I will tell you this, it cuts beautifully. There's not a lot of bad smoke or smells compared to cutting acrylic. This stuff was fantastic. I had to do some acrylic the other day for a gift, and I really dislike cutting acrylic. It smells like a nail salon when you cut acrylic. Even if you're venting it great, you still get the smell. This had I didn't detect any smell at all, and there was very little smoke too. So it's a really neat thing. You do want to make sure you're using EVA foam and not other kinds of foam. EVA foam is safe for lasers. There could be certain types of foam that could produce chlorine gas. So make sure if you're going to do the gym pads or gym squares and use it to cut things, make sure it does say EVA foam on it. And that's it for now. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and I figured I'd share this project with you, and I'll try and add some more details and stuff in the description notes of this video for you, especially if you have S1 lasers, 40 watt or the 20 watt. I'll try and give you a good jumping off point to start for a cut, score, and engrave. Now on this logo, on this one, I did actually do both. I did a scoring and then did the engraving second, and that seemed to work really well. And but a lot of that will depend on the type of engraving, logo, and what you're putting on your gym mat. All right, have a great day, everyone. So here's some of my finished kneeling pads. They came out really great, and you can see this one I did an image on in grayscale mode, and that looks really awesome too. So that's a funny gift for my wife. But they come out really great, and you can do a lot of things with them. So I think you guys will enjoy that. And there's lots of cool other projects you could use these for if you just put your mind to it. So if you need a custom pad for something, or even like in a toolbox or something that you wanted to keep safe, you could do layers of EVA foam and then cut them out and glue them together, and lots of really cool things that you could do with this besides just kneeling pads. But that's really probably a super useful use for them. And there is lots of EVA foam types, so keep in mind too, you can get thinner pieces. You can get it it comes in different thicknesses and all kinds of different colors. There are lots of options. If you haven't seen other uses for these, one thing that's used for a lot is guys that do cosplay, make really incredible costumes out of EVA foam and cutting parts and then like stitching them, sewing them together, gluing them together. They make incredible Halloween costumes and cosplay costumes. All right, so that's it for this project. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will catch you all later.